Hello everyone, my name is Yucheng Wu. I will be presenting to you a discussion on ethical issues surrounding data privacy issues in a contemporary context. We live in an era of data. For millennials and Generation X, our life is highly integrated into the digital world. Everything we need generates a data point. From our use of credit card, our use of different social media website and any website at all, if we search something on Google, that generates a record. Here are two charts looking at the chart of data scientist position at Indeed and LinkedIn and how it grows over time. You could clearly see that the demand of data analysis job has been growing for a while and is continuing into the future. The current presentation focuses on a central ethical issue related to the use of data in the big data era, data privacy. Underlying this issue, there are several core questions. For first, what is the nature of data? Is it a property that belongs to certain individual or groups? Or is it something intangible that we can claim ownership on, like a chest that we live in the nature? We don't own those footprints we left in the nature when we were taking a walk. It belongs to the nature and anyone can take advantage of it. Um, if data can be owned, then the next question is who owns the data? Is it users who generated those data, or is it companies who provided the platforms and the service from which those data are generated? Or is it a co-ownership situation where each party has some right to those data? The leads to our third question, which is do companies need to obtain consent before they use those data for a variety of purposes. Facebook has been involved in a series of data privacy scandals. In recent years, the most influential one being that Facebook provides its users' data to companies without users' consent. The those companies, most famously the Cambridge Analytica, they use the users' data to generate users' profits and they use it political advertising and interfering the presidential elections. The lead to user initiated campaign campaign against the use of the Facebook and also Facebook being fined a hefty amount by the federal government. I will present arguments both for the against individual ownership or company ownership of the data, followed by a discussion of which side I take and the recommendation of the path forward. One side of the argument suggests that company should have ownership to those data, and that's certainly what those companies would like to believe. Why? First, company provide service to users, most of time free of charge. Users don't have to pay to use Facebook or YouTube. In return, the company will fetch your data. This is basically an argument of equal exchange. I provide you service for free, then I need other ways to benefit from you, either by selling your advertisements and your data. If users don't feel comfortable sharing those data, they should simply not use the service. You are enjoying the benefits of convenience those companies provide to you, and in return, you provide your data. Second, most of data companies fetched is public data, things like who your friend circle include, what type of post you share, which type of article you are most likely to click in, and how much time you spend on different types of products or information. This is a behavioral data and not specific private information that you entered into the website. When users share posts on their timeline, they are okay with the information going out, or else they should do it in uh, incognito mode or do it anonymously online. The bottom line here is that companies should at least partially on the data and be able to use those data for certain purposes, such as improving service and making recommendations. However, if that argument is taken, if we give companies ownership to the data, there could be serious negative societal um, effect, which is why we should put some restrictions on what they can do about it. This is also aligned with my belief, which is that companies should not be given ownership to users' data. Arguments against a company's ownership of users' data include first, not all data they fetch is public. When users browse certain in content, they don't necessarily want that information to be collected and utilized. Those are the rights of the users. Two, the use of those data for commercial purposes uh, could, could seriously breach users' privacy. For example, Target sent consumers promotions of baby products before anyone in the household um, knows that targeted person is pregnant. That is massively inappropriate. Third, companies are driven by their business interest. They do whatever they are allowed to maximize their benefits, and we should not expect them to be ethical. Their use of data has already caused several negative effects at the society level, including influences to political uh, campaign and the information cocooning effect, meaning that one is only provided with information that further strengthens his or her existing beliefs, which is not healthy for um, democratic society. This is unethical even from a utilitarian perspective because it creates negative for the social society. So not only should companies not have ownership, that should be able to get data just by asking for basic consent. Instead, they should specifically list out the type of activities that might do with users' data and warn users of the potential effect of allowing that to happen, similar to how secret companies or warn users of the adverse health impact of using secrets. Overall, from the utilitarian and social justice perspective, I believe that the social cost of giving companies data ownership greatly outweighs the benefits. I understand that companies need a path to become profitable, but I believe that the users should be presented with a choice, either to give consent to the platform to use the data after being educated of what the data might be used for, or to not use the platforms for variety of activities, or to become to pay member. The different types of data usage should be considered separately and be subject to different levels of scrutiny. Selling advertisement or using data to improve service and identify market market marked demand, for example, could be governance strictly. Then use data for purposes related to the social and political domains. Um, in fact, the data should never used for political purposes as we continue to generate a massive users data going forward. Our discussions on data privacy and government must keep going on. While there is not a better way to solve all data privacy related problems, we should strive for striving a balance between technological advancement or commercial interests or convenience, and more important outcomes like privacy and social justice. That concludes my presentation today.